right, Vickers Tactical fans, I got a little one-on-one coming up here with Paul Buffoni, who is the founder and owner of Bravo Company USA. Paul, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you for coming by, Larry. I appreciate it.
One of my favorite people in the industry. If you don't mind, we'll have a little chat here and talk about how Bravo Company came about. I mean, you've grown exponentially since you started. Just kind of what makes you and Bravo Company tick.
Bravo Company started 2003 out of the basement of my house. We were doing online resale, retailer through e-commerce. We were doing gun shows. That went very well. And we slowly evolved into making our own barrels, and then making our own upper receiver groups, and then making our own bow carrier groups. And that was on or about 2005. There was a very big need in the marketplace for consumers to find a high quality military specification product in the commercial market. With the overseas private contractors, with the domestic law enforcement and security raising its game after 9/11, there were a lot of folks looking for good quality stuff. Yeah. And it just wasn't there.
Right, it wasn't, because you basically had Colt.
Yes.
And then they were,
they were very busy.
Very busy at the time, obviously after 9/11. And then pretty much everything else at the time was all commercial grade stuff.
Exactly.
So there was a void there on guys in harm's way who wanted good stuff, that wanted mil-spec stuff.
Exactly correct. We stepped up to feed that little corner of the marketplace, a part of the market that I thought would be very, very small, but to me very, very important.
Sure.
And something that I'd be very interested in making that commitment to. And it just evolved from there. It evolved to our own rifles, it evolved to our own accessories. Anytime we could find a need in the marketplace where it would enhance the warfighter's survivability, either make the weapon system more reliable or make the warfighter's interface with the weapon system enhanced, we sought to advance in that direction.
And one thing I've noticed about you, of course, is the famous story about the barrels where you scrap, is you always stick to your guns to make sure the parts are what they need to be, the gun is what it needs to be, to the best of your ability. And you won't cut corners or do whatever it takes to get the gun out the door. Understanding that the average consumer may not be affected by that inherent flaw in the weapon, but you don't do that. You stick to your guns.
Absolutely correct. Some people look at the firearms industry as a sporting industry. I don't like that term at all for this industry, at least not the way I view it in our little corner, where it may be applicable in some areas. But I've made this analogy before. I look at a firearm the same way a paratrooper would look at his parachute. It's going to save his life, and if it doesn't work exactly as it's supposed to, there can be dire consequences. If we're going to make a firearm, we are going to make it to our highest ability. There's no bean counter going to make a decision that this is good enough because it costs less.
Sure.
I want to build a rifle. I served in the Marine Corps, very short time, but one of the things I walked away from was that firearm being a tool, it needed to function all the time, and if not, the consequences could be dire. And as such, that's the way I look at a gun. Any gun sitting on a rack out there, I need to feel like I can pick it up at that moment, load it, and somebody can save somebody's life.
Because you never know. It may go out the door and have to do exactly that. Yeah, I think getting back to one of the few CEOs, really, founders of a company that have actually served in the military. I can think of a few others, but most of them haven't. Most of them have come from the civilian sector or other areas, and they may not necessarily be able to make that connection of what it takes when hey, I'm issued a piece of equipment here, and I may have to stake my life on it.
You know from your service in the military, if you're fighting, you're fighting for your brother next to you. That's
right.
That's who you're fighting. We look at that rifle in the same type of light. I've said it this way as well before. I feel that in my position here, I have a moral obligation to do everything within my power to make sure that rifle is exactly what it's supposed to be, because that's my buddy that's running it.
Sure. Good deal. Now, 10 years ago, 11 years ago is where you started, and then now you're here. And how many employees?
We've got about 33 employees. We occupy a 30,000 square foot manufacturing and warehouse and administrative facility here in Heartland, Wisconsin.
Wow. And it's always been here.
Always been here. My original basement for my side-by-side duplex that I operated out of was in Heartland, Wisconsin, and we've made 4 moves now within the city of Heartland to different areas of the industrial park until we finally ended up purchasing the building that we're in. Purchasing and renovating the building.
Sure, wow. Now, in case the people at home didn't know it, Paul's a bit of a motorhead here. Loves his motorcycles, loves his cars. Where did that come from? I know you worked at Harley at one time?
Yeah, I did. Interning out of college. I worked in Harley HQ down on Juneau in downtown Milwaukee for a short bit. I had been riding motorcycles since, I think probably 7 or 8 years old, and always loved it. Raced motorcycles in high school, loved it. Always liked anything with horsepower, anything mechanical, really.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, it's been a sideline hobby of mine.
And then you've got some bikes you guys are working on here as a little bit of a project.
Yeah, we've got a little small area in the back of the shop that's kind of like a recreational area for many of our employees. When we hire armors to work on our rifles, we really hire them as mechanics. That's the way we look at them. We hire them out of the mechanical trades, whether they were car mechanics or bike mechanics, or airline mechanics, or welders, or whatever. They come to us with a mechanical skill, and then we teach them the platform, one workstation at a time. Well, as such, these type of folks, they much like myself, love to work on bikes or their cars or whatever. So we have a little bay area here where there's tools and welders and lifts and everything else for guys to do some tweaking after work or on the weekend.
That's really cool.
So yeah, and we've got some personal projects going on here. I do, many employees do. We've also got a corporate project going on where we are slowly, we don't have that much free time, but we are slowly working on a Bravo company or BCM themed motorcycle, and hopefully it's finished by next year. But it's been just something fun for the employees and myself to gather around, and something interesting to do.
So everybody knows there's really 3 tiers to Bravo Company, correct? You got the parts and accessory side, which is how you started.
Yes.
Then you've got the rifle manufacturing, which was kind of the second phase of the piece.
Yes.
And then the phase you're into big time now and really making some serious dent in the market is the accessories.
Yes,
your gunfighter line of pistol grip, charging handle, and the KMR rail and stuff like that. And that has come on strong in just the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's gone extremely well. Bravo Company USA or BravoCompanyUSA.com. That's the resale where you can purchase most of these items and items from other excellent manufacturers throughout the industry that we offer. Bravo Company Manufacturing is the rifle line, and then BCM Gunfighter being the accessory line. The HQ for BCM Gunfighter is out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's a Skunk Works or product development facility, and we have pound for pound the most talented crew in the industry, hands down. And those guys have been coming up with some fantastic products. We've got more fantastic products on the drawing board, and they've done an outstanding job. And so that area of the company, that third branch, so to speak, has really exploded, and it's been just fantastic.
One thing I've liked is you guys have really now taken the lead on the carbine side and the accessory side for lightweight yet strong. I mean, you really have picked that torch up and ran with it, and now, like, my training gun is very light. I noticed that's kind of the trend.
Right. Now, and you know how the old saying is, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. And I can tell you as a grunt, and I'm sure you could tell me quite a bit more how heavy that stuff gets after you've been humping it day after day, all damn day. And light is excellent, but you can't be light at the sacrifice of strength or quality or durability. You know, I mean, anybody can hollow stuff out and make it light, and then, but in effect, weaken their product. So it's not really a true, tool now for the warfighter. What we've done is we have slowly and incrementally, and are continuing to do, is gone through this rifle component at a time and found either different methods or different alloys or different mechanisms that can lighten up the weapon and either at the same strength or actually enhance strength.
Enhance it, yeah. Well, awesome. Well, Paul, really thank you sitting down with me. Enjoyed every time I get a chance to hook up with you at SHOT Show and wherever. Big fan of BCM, as you know, and guys in my classes know that's my primary training carbine, has been for quite a while. So I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and make sure you keep keep fighting the good fight here at BCM.
You know it, Larry, and thank you very much for coming by. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.